This is the border between El Paso and Juarez. I have seen it change throughout the years, passing by it every morning going to Utah. And throughout this time, hearing about the immigrants and migrants just getting worse and worse. The seeing of lines of migrants going for miles just for them to have a chance for a better life. Being from El Paso, it gives me a personal connection seeing how it has affected so many people's lives and the ones crossing and the ones living here. First by President Trump saying to build a wall and they will pay for it, to the President Biden welcoming them with open arms as our state has to deal with the immigration and his mess. We have seen and heard a lot of people's opinions and thoughts about this crisis. It has gotten so overwhelming for the city that our own border walls, we have placed barbed wire along its walls to keep the migrants at bay, while they plead asylum, exploiting the loopholes in our system. In extreme measures, some people say a civil war can happen between Texas and the state for going against Biden's laws that our own governor is stopping the military to take down the barbed wire. Is the migrant crisis this big of a problem that we keep hearing on the news? And if so, how can we fix this? So I decided to see for myself, how has it changed from the past 2 years? So I decided to go downtown where we went on national news. Migrants are sleeping on the streets after thousands crossed the border. 2022, December 9th through the 11th. Migrants were all over the streets of downtown El Paso. We have seen so many stories, the side of the migrants, but not the side of the law enforcement. How do they feel? What do they think about this? How are they affected by this situation? Are they overworked? Have this taken a toll on them and their families? The stress of this situation, and I want to find out anything that I can learn from this. Walking through downtown is quite beautiful and quiet. Seeing the buildings, old and new, how times have changed so much. Walking down these streets, you could hear live music, the railway, the trains, the baseball stadium away. It feels nice. Seeing the mom and pop shops, to finding Elvis Presley, all the way to a dive bar. Hello, I'm with Remy Joseph Hernandez as a customs officer, and please introduce yourself to everyone else.
My name is Remy Joseph Hernandez. I'm currently a supervisor, first-line supervisor here with U.S. Customs and Border Protection at the area port of Isleta. I've been a supervisor since 2009. I started with U.S. Immigration in 1996, then Department of Treasury, U.S. Customs Inspections in 97, and we merged and became U.S. Customs and Border Protection in 2003. And I'm currently assigned here at Isleta.
Thank you. And what do you do as an officer here?
Right now, as a supervisor, first-line supervisor, I'm assigned to the commercial traffic cargo facility, where we get all the international traffic that comes in, the commercial goods from Mexico. But as a supervisor, I've been assigned to different various work units to include passenger, airport, rail, and passport control secondary, which is where we have immigration issues, and to include where asylum seekers come and present themselves to request asylum.
To go on that topic, for the migrant crisis, how does it affect the city in other ways than just crime?
Well, when thousands and thousands of asylum seekers are presenting themselves, whether at the port of entry, which I work, or to U.S. Border Patrol, in between the ports of entries, those thousands of asylum seekers need and require shelter, food, water, and a means to see if they can travel to get to their locations that they're destined for. All that takes money and resources, and sometimes through the charitable people or organizations, or through taxpayers.
The asylum creating a problem.
Well, what's currently happening today is thousands of applicants are presenting themselves daily either turning themselves into the port of entries or in between the port of entries to U.S. Border Patrol. The camps where they actually should be detained are overcrowded. And if they're overcrowded, then those applicants are then being paroled and they're out on their own in our streets, wherever they go, and they're waiting for their cases to be adjudicated. And those cases might take months or might take over a year or maybe even 2 years before their case is adjudicated and they find out if their asylum case is going to be approved or not.
How has the migrant crisis affected you and your coworkers that people don't usually?
A lot of myself or officers are working double shifts on a regular basis. A lot of resources and time and manpower have gone to taking care of the asylum seekers and the migrant cases. So it's created heavy workloads, long hours. It's actually taken away from other point of emphasis that we have and duties that we have, such as enforcement or processing trusted travelers, travelers daily. A lot of the resources are going to how we can process these cases of asylum seekers and taking care of them and detention before they're allowed to proceed.
Thank you. It must be a really heavy toll on all of you. And if you could change anything, if you had the power, the resources, what would you do and change to help you all?
If we can actually just go ahead and process these cases the way the laws that are already in place were intended to. So for example, instead of just being paroled or released or allowed to be picked up within the ports of entry, what it will do is actually reduce the number of cases, but we'd be able to process them efficiently. We'd be able to process them completely, and those cases then would be heard in front of an immigration judge on time. It would slow down the number of applicants that are applying daily, unfortunately, but at least the process would be done correctly as the laws are already in place to take care of it and handle it.
Thank you so much for your time.
Or through taxpayers.
Now, for the people who don't know, please define asylum.
Asylum is a process that allows migrants, individuals to flee their country for one reason or another. Their fear for their life, and they are leaving their country, going somewhere else where they no longer, or they hope they no longer have that threat or that situation to their life.
Thank you. And for the migrants, please explain the loophole, how they are exploiting the loophole in our system for the asylum.
Well, anybody can seek asylum and flee the country, but the general process is that once they have to go to a port of entry, claim asylum. From there, it's going to be a legal proceeding. An immigration judge will hear their case and determine if they have a justification for their asylum case. What should be happening is they should be going into a camp, a facility to be held at the time while their case is being adjudicated. But unfortunately, a lot of those camps get overbearing and they get full, and from there, if they're crowded, the cases then have to be paroled.
Okay. In the survey I took, I had 23 participants, and out of the 23, only 2 said there wasn't a migrant crisis, 1 says no, and the rest all agreed that we had a crisis. How does that make you feel, and did you suspect that outcome?
Considering my job and what I see on a daily basis, I'm not surprised. I would say that is pretty much in line with everything what you see on the news and what I see daily. I'm not surprised that the majority of the people said there is a migrant crisis.
For my survey, 23 people agreed that there needs to be a change to help the border. How does that make you feel? Did you suspect that it could be from a change to the president, the laws, anything to help with y'all?
I agree. The current situation, the policies, the procedures that's happening right now is not working. We need, whether it's enforcing the current laws that are in place, increasing laws, or putting more resources towards immigration, towards the migrants. Something needs to be done and changed so that if not, this situation could continue to keep getting bigger, and worse.
Thank you. Last minute things you would like to tell the viewers watching this?
No, other than the fact that immigration issues have always been part of our United States history all the way back from independence. There's always been a large amount of immigrants coming and looking for a better life, and there's just been different situations throughout history. This is just another example or another time that we in our history for a migrant problem that we have. I'm sure in the future there'll be something different that we would have to go ahead and adjust to and handle when that situation arises.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.